Alright, what's happening, y'all? It is your boy Rico from StreetScores, and we just traded for Marshon Lattimore, all-pro corner, 4-time Pro Bowler. We are now Super Bowl contenders. Adam Peters basically just flipped Jahan Dotson for an all-pro cornerback. GM of the year, the best GM of in the entire NFL. I'm all over the place. I don't even know how to react. This is insane, man. But before we dive into everything, because I'm going to give you every angle of this, what we exactly gave up to get him, it's way cheaper than what you think. We're going to talk about cap space. We're going to talk about his contract. But before we get to all of that, make sure you still farm that like button, still farm the subscription button, and still farm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned, follow the content. I'm going to keep y'all updated on everything. You already know we're about to break this all the way down, but we're also being on the lookout for any more trades that may happen. The deadline is at 4 p.m. We still have, I'm recording at 1:30 p.m. We still have 2.5 hours. You never know. I will keep y'all updated on everything. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm coming to y'all with like 2-3 videos a day. I may even do a film session on how Marshon Lattimore will fit in this defense, so be on the lookout for stuff like that, and I will be live streaming this upcoming Steelers game. But let's go ahead and dive into this video right now. Let's get it. Adam. Man, I don't even know what to do with myself right now, but Adam Schefter officially tweeted at 12:56 p.m. The time matters because this is going to be a day that we never forget, where he tweeted, trade, New Orleans is sending 4-time Pro Bowl corner Marshon Lattimore to the Washington Commanders. Saints had multiple teams interested in the 28-year-old corner who's still recovering from a hamstring injury. Commanders push on, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I think that is a Devontae Adams hamstring injury where he just didn't want to play. He was just like, man, I'm tired of being here, trade me, and I'm just pretend that I have a hamstring injury so I don't keep having to go out there and playing for this sorry team that I'm on right now. I'm telling you right now, that was a phantom hamstring injury. Do not be surprised if Marshon Lattimore not only plays against the Steelers in a few days, but also locks up George Pickens, who is my Georgia dog. We're going to talk about that soon. We're going to talk about that later in the video. But man, we got us a cornerback one with the right attitude as well. The exact mentality that Joe Wood Jr. and Dan Quinn demand of their defensive players is the exact mentality and attitude and passion that Marshawn Lynch brings. Not only just the alpha male in coverage, but he'll also step up and make plays against the run, which is why they're trying to trade Emmanuel Forbes, because I remember it was either the Panthers or the Bears game. He tried to step up for like a run stop, and then he hesitated, and he looked like he was afraid to hit, and he got scared, and then he literally got benched. Like from there, he got benched, and then he was inactive. He was a healthy scratch just this past game against the Giants. So this team clearly prioritizes attitude, just like Jahan Dotson. We're going to talk about him soon too as well. But Jahan Dotson got traded. It wasn't because he couldn't run routes and catch. It was because of a lack of the mentality that they want for this team, that they demand from this team. You need to be willing to do everything. Even as a corner, I know your primary objective is covering, but we need you to step up and make stops against the run as well. Same thing with receiver. I know your primary objective is running routes, getting open, and catching passes, but we need you to block as well. We need you to do everything that could possibly be asked of you, of your position group, if you're on this team. Emmanuel Forbes was not doing that, but most importantly, Marshon Lattimore is somebody that does that. But even outside of the ability to stop the run, this is an alpha male corner. He wants to be asked to cover the best receivers of the other team. He's offended if he's not asked to cover the best receiver on the other team. I love it, man. 4-time Pro Bowler. Stop playing with Adam Peters. And before the trade, let's just talk about how the momentum built up, how the anxiety was building. Because yeah, Ian Rappaport, he tweeted at, where we at, 12:40 p.m. While nothing has been agreed to or finalized, talks centered around Saints cornerback Marshon Lattimore have picked up over the last few hours. Sources say the Chiefs have been in on it, and thank goodness we did not let the Chiefs get a hold of this. They already traded for D-Hop. You can't have Marshon Lattimore too, man. Chill out. Y'all are already undefeated. Chill out. And then he also said the Commanders have made a hard push, and there are at least 2 other teams. So we were like, okay, wait, they're not tweeting this for no reason. The Commanders must actually be in on this. Then he tweeted a few weeks ago, it appeared the Commanders will be in wait and see mode, but their window has opened sooner than anticipated with all of the winning that they're doing. And we're leading the NFC East right now. We're second in the NFC right now as well as far as the playoffs go. I mean, if the Lions would have lost to the Packers, we would have been the #1 seed in the NFC. If the playoffs started tomorrow, we would have had home field advantage and a bye week to start the playoffs. But he also finished up his tweet by saying, and they are active, trying to take advantage of their opportunity. Then Adam Schefter tweeted at 12:34, why it's worth watching Washington today. Commanders currently are slated to have 9 picks in the 2025 NFL Draft. Commanders have an extra 3rd round pick from the Jahan Dotson trade and an extra 6th from the pick swap with the Saints from John Ridgway. So shouts out to the Saints for giving us a 6th round pick that we basically gave back to you from that John Ridgway trade to get Marshon Lattimore. That is an insane finesse, man. And we also have an extra 7 from the Jahan Dotson deal as well. And I was already saying that if Adam Schefter is tweeting about us, he must be laying the groundwork and prepping us for a trade that may eventually happen. And it seemed like every tweet that any of the top article guys, any Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, Jordan Schultz, they always mention the Commanders. Some tweets mention the Chiefs, and then other tweets like mention, oh, there are other teams interested. But every tweet included the Commanders. So I was already working on this video because I'm like, wait a minute, this may actually go down. This is not the Rivera era or even the Jay Gruden era or really any time under Dan Snyder where our names are like associated with a top player that we could potentially trade for, but then we end up falling short and not doing it. No, this is the era now where you hear Commanders are attached to this guy. The Commanders are actually attached to it, and we find a way to come away with a good deal. We're not just trading for big names. We're not pulling with the Josh Normans or even the William Jacksons bad fits. We're not just making splash signings and trades. Albert Hainsworth just for the name of it, just for the shine, just for the compliments. No, we're actually doing it because they're great fits. We're going to dive into that soon. But even Kay Adams tweeted before the trade even happened, when we were just hearing about rumors, she said, I can see it, and every NFL should want it. Marshon Lattimore to the Commanders, we should all be rooting for. She was rooting for this to happen. She was talking about in a segment how Mike Williams may go to the Commanders, but then she also talked about how Marshon Lattimore should go to the Commanders, and we should all be rooting for that, especially since the Commanders are basically the team of destiny right now. We are the ones that nobody saw this coming, and we are a very exciting team to watch, so why not? Then Jordan Schultz tweeted, the Saints have been seeking a 2025 Day 2 pick in exchange for Marshon Lattimore, and the belief is New Orleans should be able to get that today. The Commanders have been actively involved, as have multiple other AFC contending teams. Washington is believed to have the most ammunition right now. So shouts out to the moves that Adam Peters made earlier with the Sam Howell trade that led to the draft that we had. And then after the draft, the Jahan Dotson and John Ridgway trades. I know people questioned some of those trades about the value that we got. But now that you look, Jahan Dotson ended up going for more than what D-Hop went for. Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper. It's insane. And then the John Ridgway trade also helped with this as well. Because again, we gave them John Ridgway for a 6th round pick, then we gave them that 6th round pick right back so we could take Marshon Lattimore for him. I'm pretty sure these trades would not have been even accepted if you tried to pull them in Madden. I love it. But just to let you know, before we even traded for Marshon Lattimore, we had a 1st round pick 29th, 2nd round pick 62nd, 3rd round pick 72nd from the Jahan Dotson trade, a 3rd round pick 93rd, 4th round pick 131st, 2 6th round picks 181 from the Ridgway trade and 206, 7th round picks, 2 of them, 237 and 241 from the Dotson swap. And don't forget that we also had $122.9 million in 2025 cap space, which is the 2nd most in the NFL. But then we went ahead and traded for him. And just to let you know, we traded for Marshon Lattimore and a 5th round pick. We had to give up a 3rd, 4th, and a 6th. So remember, 3rd, 4th, and a 6th, we got Marshon Lattimore and a 5th. Not even just Marshon Lattimore by himself, and that is definitely worth it. I'm screaming it's worth it. I hope nobody, there's always that one guy that's going to disagree and downplay something, even in the fan base. I'm telling you right now, that is more than worth it. 100%. I would do that trade over and over again, because even after trading for Marshon Lattimore, we still were able to we traded for an all-pro corner, one of the best corners in the NFL, and we were still able to keep our 1st round pick, our 2nd round pick, and one of our 3rds, and now we got the Saints' bad 5th round pick in return, because they keep losing. Remember, they just lost to the Panthers a couple of days ago. So even that pick will only get better and better and better. That 5th round pick is going to be what some people would consider a late 4th by the end of all of it, because the Saints are going to be one of the highest picking teams in the draft. That pick is only getting juicier as well. And so the full trade results ended up being New Orleans gets Washington's 3rd round pick, Washington's 4th, and its 6th back from the John Ridgway trade. Ha ha. Then the Washington gets Marshon Lattimore and the Saints' 5th round pick. So basically, Adam Peters just turned Jahan Dotson into Marshon Lattimore. Jahan Dotson and John Ridgeway into Marshon Lattimore. That is insane, man. And then, I mean, literally, Jahan Dotson and 2 day 3 picks for Marshon Lattimore and another day 3 pick is just absolutely insanity. Like, that's just absolute insanity right now. But it's even crazier because we actually traded away our own 3rd round pick. How about that? Not even the Jahan Dotson one that is actually the higher pick between the two. We traded our own 3rd round pick. So we gave them the one that is with the 93rd in the 3rd round. We kept the 72nd one. So not only did we technically trade Jahan Dotson for Marshon Lattimore, but we also actually were able to keep the Jahan Dotson pick, which is the better one, and give them the lesser of the 2 3rd round picks. That is absolutely insane, man. So again, the 72nd overall pick came from Dotson. We actually gave them the 93rd. That is a big difference. That is a 19 pick jump right now if the draft were tomorrow. And I completely agree with Eric Sully at Commanders Realm when he said Marshon Lattimore is the exact player I envisioned they'd get. They have the need, they have the money, they have the draft capital, and they have the wins. It made too much sense. And I've been screaming about this for a few days now. People kept saying it's a pipe dream. Stop clickbaiting Rico and stuff like that, all in the comment sections of videos and things like that I've been doing over the past few days, the past week. I keep saying this Marshon Lattimore thing made too much sense. I wasn't just saying that just for clicks and views. I was saying it because I actually meant it. They were losing. They were on the way down. They're in cap purgatory. They're $75 million in the negative in 2025 cap space for next offseason with Marshon Lattimore on the roster. And the only way that you're going to be able to get better is by acquiring more draft picks to build through the draft, because when you're negative in cap space, and I don't know how they're going to finesse their contracts in order to not be in the negative by the time free agency comes around early March, but whatever they got to do, either way, by the time they somehow magically get neutral, they're not going to have much money to spend in free agency. So the only way that they can get better is through the draft. So you need to trade whatever players you can to get some draft picks to make your team better and at least to start building towards something. Right now, I'm not expecting the Saints to be good anytime soon. And that's another reason why trading away Marshon Lattimore, especially with him being 28 years old, just makes the most sense. By the time they may actually end up being good enough for having Marshon Lattimore to even matter, he's probably going to be gone. He's probably going to be past his prime and things like that. Go ahead and trade him away. It's no use holding them hostage. And then on our end, of course, we just got way better with Marshon Lattimore. That's obvious. It's just, and then especially from his end, we'll talk about those soon, man, because I know Marshon Lattimore is celebrating just as much as us fans are right now. Shouts out to my boy Emmanuel Benton at Manny Benton. I completely agree. He said Adam Peters making this move says that he understands this team's winning window has opened early. The time is now. I've been screaming for several videos for a couple of weeks now that next year is never promised. You never know. I mean, so many things can change, so many things can happen, bad luck can strike, you just never know. Knocking on wood, all of that, because, I mean, granted, we are built for the future. Most of our great talent on this team is young talent. We have good draft picks. We have a great front office, as you can see. We have a great coaching staff, but even that could change if people try to take from our coaching staff because we're so successful and try to give guys at different layers of our coaching staff promotions to come leave for more pay, for more responsibility, a bigger role and things like that. So you never know. You just never know what can happen next season. We're not the Rams that went all in on this season and you know for a fact we're going to be terrible after this season like they did a couple of years ago when they won the Super Bowl. They already knew before they won the Super Bowl that it is Super Bowl or bust because we gave up everything in the future. They barely even had draft picks after that. We're doing it perfectly to where we're still building towards the future, but we also understand, even though nobody expected us to be at this point already in this season, already 7-2 and things like that, leading the NFC East, second in the NFC and things like that. Nobody expected this, but you got to adapt. You got to adjust. We didn't predict this to happen, but shouts out to Adam Peters for having the ability and the wits to just pivot. Like we weren't expecting to be here, but now that we are, we got to make changes. We need to act accordingly. Thank you for that. Shouts out to John Com, because I completely agree as well. Even before the trade went down, he said Washington definitely wants to build through the draft, but they do have a surplus of picks. Won't spend big just to do it though. Has to make sense for now and the next few years. Plus we have a lot of cap space in 2025 as well. And look what happened. And then shouts out to Sam 48 for pointing out the fact that, hey, we have some Ohio State boys here, man. We have some Ohio State dogs here. I mean, even specifically in the Marshon Lattimore Ohio State 2014 recruiting class, we have Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, and Jalen Holmes. So if anybody knows Marshon Lattimore, if he's ready to go into any situation and be a part of a brotherhood with, I mean, basically to go back and reminisce, these are my guys. So again, even from Marshon Lattimore's point of view, he's ready. But I'm pretty sure even on our side, I'm pretty sure these guys were vouching for this guy so hard. Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown especially. Again, we're not even just talking about Ohio State teammates for Marshon Lattimore. We're talking about the exact same 2014 recruiting class coming out of high school, all freshmen going to Ohio State. We have all of those guys on this team. That is absolutely incredible, man. I am so excited. And shouts out to Matthew Perez for pointing out the fact that, quote, the relationship between Lattimore and the Saints could use some improvement. The injury right now is a hamstring, but this is a Devontae Adams hamstring injury where he's fine when he gets traded. He said it with a question mark, but again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm saying it as a declaration. No, I think that hamstring injury, I'm very confident that hamstring injury was just, oh no, I pulled my hamstring, I can't play for this sorry franchise, but as soon as I get traded to a winning team, a Super Bowl contender, suddenly I'm 100% healthy. I'm pretty sure it's just like the Devontae Adams one. Also, imagine what this defense looks like once Mike Sanderstill keeps on developing. He's been getting better and better every game. Other than getting ran over by Daniel Jones, this guy has been hooping as a second-round rookie who initially we just assumed he would be a slot corner, and that's it. He made the move to outside corner, which kind of set him back. He looked really good in the preseason as a slot corner. He looked pretty good early on in the season as a slot corner. Then we moved him to outside corner. He took a step back. It took him a minute to adjust. And then every game, it just seems to be getting better and better. So very soon, we're about to go from Benjamin St-Juste from being our cornerback 1 to at best our cornerback 3. And that is pure lockdown in the secondary. Jeremy Chin just played out of his mind last week against the Giants. He's only getting better. Quan Martin just led our team in tackles 2 weeks ago, and he's been doing pretty well in coverage. This secondary, this defense in general is about to be insane. We needed this bad because if we're going to be ready for the rest of our schedule just alone versus George Pickens, then A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, then CeeDee Lamb, even without Dak Prescott, and then Calvin Ridley, even though that Titans offense is anemic, and then the revenge game against the Saints, and then maybe Chris Olave available in that game, but you know, we'll see because he's suffered like 5 concussions already in his career. It may be time for him to retire. And then A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith again, and then Drake London and Kyle Pitts. We needed Marshon Lattimore bad because even beyond just our regular season schedule, don't forget the playoffs. We have to go against the Lions with Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, or maybe even the Vikings with Justin Jefferson. And that's just the start. There's so many other playoff caliber teams that may be included that have really good receivers on their team, and we needed Marshon Lattimore so bad to get ready to go up against those guys. This is a great matchup and a great trade that we just made strategically to prepare for the long run of this season. And I'm so happy that they thought ahead as far as like, how do we get to the Super Bowl? Not just how do we win the regular season. Again, we have all of these elite wide receiver matchups potentially coming in the playoffs as well in our pathway to the Super Bowl. I'm so glad. I mean, because right now the NFC East is honestly kind of looking like food, to be completely honest. I'm very confident in our playoff chances, but now it's time to start looking at Super Bowl, and this moves definitely prepares you for that for sure. It increases your chances of reaching and winning the Super Bowl. And then, I mean, man, the celebrations I was seeing on Twitter before I started recording from the Commanders fan base almost brought me to tears, dog. I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait to see what this comment section looks like, man. I will be in there celebrating with y'all. I'm gonna be reading the comments and everything like that. And y'all know I'm from Atlanta, but it's a party in the DMV right now. I should fly out just for that, just for this trade alone, man. And shouts out to Josh Taylor, man, because this is so cool, because he tweeted in all caps, of course, I'm getting congratulations DMs from other fan bases. WTF, Adam Peters has changed my life. Whole bunch of exclamation points. I completely agree. I'm right with you, man. The stats that even come from Marshon Lattimore are insane in itself. We're going to dive into that really soon, because this guy, we're going to explain how he's pure lockup. Shouts out to Pro Football Focus, because they don't feel like he's that good for some reason. When you look at Pro Football Focus, he actually doesn't have high grades, but when you look at the advanced stats and how well he plays in coverage, you will know that we definitely got us one here. Now imagine how happy Marshon Lattimore is going from that sorry Saints team that started 2-0, and then the wheels just fell off, kind of just like how we did last year, ironically, starting 2-0 and then the wheels fell off, to now a top 5 team in the NFL. I mean, Stephen A. Smith just said it this morning that the Commanders are a top 5 team, and that was before we even traded for Marshon Lattimore, and he brought up the fact that the Lions traded for Zadarius Smith, which is why he propelled them to number 1. So we probably are even higher on this list than number 5 at this point after the trade. But either way, undisputed top 5 team in the NFL right now, led by Jaden Daniels, arguably the MVP of the NFL right now, and then a Joe Witt Jr. and Dan Quinn system that fits him literally perfectly. Oh, I know Marshon Lattimore is so happy right now. But interestingly enough, I know this isn't something very important, but I'm intrigued to find out, will Chris Rodriguez give up his number 23 to Marshon Lattimore? I mean, because even after that amazing game he just had, I'm pretty sure they'll figure something out to where Marshon ends up with his number 23. They'll figure something out. I don't know what Chris Rodriguez will end up with, but we got to remember that Chris Rodriguez, I believe, is still on the practice squad. I think we just activated him for that game. If Brian Robinson is healthy to go against the Steelers, I'm pretty sure they're going to find a way to get that number off for Chris Rodriguez. I'm pretty sure he'd be more than willing to give Marshon Lattimore that number anyway, because I'm not even sure if that's the number he had in college, so I'm pretty sure he's not even necessarily attached to it like that. But Adam Schefter also pointed out later after the trade that the Saints previously restructured Marshon Lattimore's contract, meaning that Washington is getting the Pro Bowler on a minimum contract for the rest of the season. This guy is not taking up any cap space. That is a absolute steal, y'all. How did Adam Peters do this? Please explain to me how he finessed this situation, man. And shouts out to Seawall Sports. I completely agree with she tweeted. Adam Peters is not just a cook or a chef. Apparently, he's a magician as well. This is insane. And remember, we have the 5th most cap space in the NFL this season. We don't even need it because, again, he's coming for a super minimum right now, not eating up any cap space. Like, he's about to come here and be one of our lowest cap hits on the entire team. He's going to be getting paid less money than Noah Brown probably, or something like that. Than Nick Allegretti, than anybody. Like, he's going to be one of the lowest paid players on our team for 2024 specifically. That is insane. And then also remember, we have the 2nd most cap space in 2025, so I'm not worried about paying him long term at all. And we don't even better, we don't even have to worry about it until 2027. He's on contract for 2025 and 2026 as well. Let's break it down. So now that we're the new team that acquired Marshon Lattimore, he's a $605,000 cap hit this year, not even $1 million. Then he's an $18 million cap hit in 2025, not guaranteed, y'all, and an $18.5 million cap hit in 2026, not guaranteed. So at the worst, he'll be a less than $19 million cap hit for the remaining 2 years of his contract. Again, we don't even have to worry about extending him until 2027 at the latest. And then also on top of that, none of his money is guaranteed 2025 and beyond. 2025, 2026, neither of them. That's insane. And again, just to remind y'all, he's getting paid less than $1 million to come play cornerback for us in 2024. This is absolutely insane. Also, shouts out to Ryan Fowler, because I completely agree. Marshon Lattimore immediately becomes Washington's most talented corner since the days of D'Angelo Hall in the 2020s, and all the way back to Sean Springs, Fred Smoot, and Champ Bailey in the early 2000s. I completely agree. Not even close. Immediate upgrade at the position, and Joe Witt Jr. now has an alpha at corner that he's been begging for from the players already on this team. He's been begging for those guys to step up and become that guy. Nobody necessarily. Now, Mike Sainristil's getting better. Jeremy Chin and Quan Martin are doing their things at safety, but cornerback-wise specifically, through 9 weeks, nobody's done it yet. So they said, okay, nobody will turn into that guy. How about we just go get that guy? Shouts out to Mason Kinahan. I completely agree when he said Marshon Lattimore is exactly what this team needed today. Best corner on the market right now, and the Washington Commanders land him massive. Wouldn't be surprised if the hamstring injury is magically healed. I completely agree. Now let's dive into some advanced stats to explain why Marshon Lattimore is one of the best corners in the entire NFL. First of all, you can just go look at the tape. Look at his highlights. He's battling against the best receivers in the NFL and making them look bad consistently. I mean, the Mike Evans battles alone are insane. We could have used him week 1. We would have won that game. We had Marshon Lattimore week 1, even with Jaden Daniels not being who he is at all right now. We probably win that game instead of Benjamin St. Juste getting beat for 2 touchdowns. But Marshon Lattimore has not allowed a touchdown in single coverage since 2021, which means now Quan Martin and Jeremy Chin as safeties can rotate over and help the other corners, or they can potentially step up and help against the run, which will make our run defense better naturally because we're going to have more guys in the box, just simply because Marshon Lattimore is better at coverage. Also, Marshon Lattimore since 2021, he has a 35.1% open target rate allowed. That's 5th best among all cornerbacks in the entire NFL since 2021, with at least a minimum of 1,000 snaps. So arguably, you can say that we just got one of the 5 best corners in the NFL for some late round picks. Technically, Jahan Dotson, another pick, and John Ridgeway, another. So John Ridgeway, Jahan Dotson, a late mid-round pick, and for Marshon Lattimore, a top 5 corner. That is insane. I'm sorry, my brain scrambled all around right now. I'm sorry, I'm messing up a lot, but I'm just that excited, man. You saw me with the mask on earlier, man. Y'all know I'm hyped right now. But either way, Mark Bullock even said I completely agree with this as well. Far more than I expected the Commanders to be willing to give up at the deadline. I can kind of agree. It's a steal, but I just thought that they would try to hold on as many draft picks as possible. That was the only reason I thought we wouldn't make this happen. But this is a steal nonetheless, regardless. But they needed cornerback help. They weren't able to play the style Quinn and Witt want to with the current group of cornerbacks that they had. This should help them move a safety back in the box and be more aggressive against the run and getting after the quarterback, which takes me to the point that I made earlier about how getting an elite cover corner would actually make us better against the run. Some people hear that, they don't think deeply enough to understand exactly what that means, because now we'll have less people designated to covering and more people in the box to stop the run, because Lattimore is just that elite and he can handle an entire field, half of the field by himself. He can literally take away the other team's best wide receiver by himself. I literally don't even know what to do with myself. I can't even picture Marshon Lattimore on the field, like how ridiculous that's about to be. And how do you even score points against this defense at that point? And you also have to remember that it's not just elite edge rushers help corners. It's also the other way around a lot of the time as well. Elite corners can help edge rushers, because now that we're able to lock up receivers better, more consistently, and for longer periods of time, quarterbacks will have to hesitate. And if they hesitate just enough, you saw in that game against the Giants, Daniel Jones was like a split second from a strip sack, but that guy was just a half step away, ends up hitting him as he's throwing the ball, and then he's completing it for like a 30-yard first down or a touchdown. That extra half second that a quarterback has to hesitate is going to turn into sacks, strip sacks, turnovers, dead possessions, 3-and-outs, all kinds of stuff, punts. So I'm just super excited because now cornerbacks will hesitate just enough for us to start getting more sacks. This defensive line is going to be so much better. Super excited. Can't wait to play the Steelers, man. Speaking of the Steelers, they just traded for wide receiver Mike Williams, but that does not cancel out. That does not equal at all. That is not a Marshawn Lynch problem this upcoming Sunday. Marshawn will be following my Georgia dog, George Pickens. Somebody like St. Juice can handle Mike Williams. He's a good receiver, but he's a taller receiver. That's the perfect matchup for Benjamin St. Juice. Those are literally the type of receivers that if he can lock down anybody, it's a Mike Williams type of guy. So we are perfectly matched up and suited to beat the Steelers right now. I am so excited. And so my next question is, and my last question, are we even done? Maybe we're looking to trade for some edge rusher help as well. Stay tuned. Again, we have another 2 hours before the trade deadline. I'm super excited. I will keep y'all updated, because we make another move, best believe I'm going to do an entire breakdown just like I did in this one. And also, again, be on the lookout, because I probably will do a film session. More than likely, we'll do a film session on how Marshon Lattimore will help this defense. I'm going to show you all 22 of the Saints on what he's doing, and I'm going to show you all 22 of what we're trying to do and how he would make a situation better. Like where Benjamin St. Juice gets beat on this route, Marshon Lattimore wouldn't. Things like that. So be on the lookout for that as well. But that is the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know if you feel about everything discussed in the video. Please still follow this like button, still follow the subscription button, still follow the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release a informative and opinionated video just like this one. Of course, please get in that comment section. Celebrate. Talk your trash to the other fan bases. Let them know we're Super Bowl contenders declaratively right now. Let me know all of that in the comment section. Let me know if you agree, disagree with any of my points. Please let me know if you have any additional points, any additional advanced stats about Marshon Lattimore that proves that he's one of the best corners in the NFL. Let me know any extra opinions. Let me know all of that, man. I really appreciate y'all. Please stay tuned. Make sure you stay tuned. I will keep y'all updated on everything that we have going on. Again, I'm working on the film session for Marshawn Lynch very soon, so be on the lookout for that in the next couple of days. Of course, do not leave this video without stiff arming that like button. Really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna try my best to read and reply to as many comments as possible, because again, I'm gonna be in there celebrating with y'all. So make sure y'all stay tuned. I'm gonna catch y'all later. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.